Tom's Garland upon the unemployed. Tom garlanded with squats and surly steel. Then Tom's fellow bootfellow piles pick by him and rips out rockfire home forth, sturdy Dick. Tom, hot at ease, Tom navvy, he's all for his meal, sure, sped now, low be it, lustily he his low lot, feel that ne'er need hunger, Tom seldom sick, seldom a heart sore that treads through prick-proof thick thousands of thoughts, swings through, common wheel, little I reck, lack level in, if all had bread, what country is honor enough in all us, lordly head with heaven's lights hung high round, or mother ground that mammoth's mighty foot, but no way sped, nor mind nor main strength, gold garlanded with perilous, oh no, nor yet plod safe shod sound, undenizened beyond bound of earth's glory, earth's ease, all, no one, nowhere, in wide the world's wheel, rare gold, bold steel, bear in both, care but share care, this by despair, bred hangdog dull, by rage, man-wolf worse, and their packs infest the age. If you don't understand that poem, then don't feel bad, because this is one of the most difficult poems that I've come across by Hopkins, especially in the latter part. First impression, obviously, is it is a cameo of a man who looks to be a working-class common laborer. And beyond that, there were comments made about the Commonweal, the government of Great Britain, and levels of society. And so those are some of the things that probably stuck out that you probably latched onto. But beyond that, it doesn't seem to offer much meaning. Well, don't feel bad, because as I will tell you in my analysis, he sent this poem to Robert Bridges, his close friend, and Robert Bridges had no clue what the poem was about, and he wrote back to him telling him that he didn't understand it, and then Hopkins had to take the time and draw it out and explain it to him, and that's what comes up in the analysis. So I still don't get full meaning of some of the things in the latter part of it, but I'll read it one more time, and then we'll look through the analysis, and I'll make some commentary on it. Tom garlanded with squats and surly steel. Then Tom's fellow bootfellow piles pick by him and rips out rockfire home forth, sturdy Dick. Tom, hot at ease, Tom navvy, he's all for his meal, sure as bed now, low be it, lustily he his low lot, feel that ne'er need hunger, Tom seldom sick, seldom our heart sore, that treads through prick-proof thick thousands of thoughts, swings through, common wheel, little I reck, lack level in, if all had bread, what country is honor enough in all us, lordly head with heaven's lights high hung round, or mother ground that mammoth's mighty foot, but no way sped, nor mind nor main strength gold garlanded with perilous, oh no, nor yet plod safe shod sound, undenizened beyond bound of earth's glory, earth's ease, all, no one, nowhere, in the wide the world's wheel, rare gold, bold steel, bear in both, care but share care, this by despair, bred hangdog dull by rage, man-wolf worse, and their packs infest the age. Okay, so I'll go over here now and do my analysis. So, in other poems by Hopkins, we have seen his concern for the environment, and he's written poems, as I said before, like indictments against the people for not, taking care of the environment. So that's not unusual. But probably 80% of his poems are religious poems or sacramental in nature. This poem is not really a religious poem, but it is a political poem. And there's a backdrop for it because during his time in Ireland, there were demonstrations, particularly in England, in Trafalgar Square, where the common workers were protesting against their lack of employment and the working conditions in the country. And same thing was happening in Ireland, in Dublin. And they were using force against these, the police were called out by the thousands and kind of like quelling the riots, which turned into riots. So that's the backdrop. And he was sympathetic for their cause, for the common man. So I'll read through this with that information. Whereas the majority of Hopkins' works might be classified as religious in nature, some of his other works occasionally explore the social issues of his time, especially poems dealing with conservation and protection of the environment. We saw that in Benzie Poplars when he protested against the cutting down of those beautiful trees, and Inversnaid where the waters were polluted and they were actually black. So those would be two environmental poems. And some of his religious poems as well, like God's Grandeur, if you remember in that poem, he talked about the sky in the east when the sun was rising in the brown sky, and that would be from the pollution, And the sea and the skylark, that was the main theme in that poem, where they both cried out against man for not, serving their purpose in God's creation. So they were all indictments for us not protecting the environment or something else. So this is what I just said, during his time in Ireland, Hopkins became aware of the great discontent among the working class, both in Ireland and in England, regarding the issue of unemployment and how the lack of opportunity for work contributed to grave economic hardships suffered by this class, the lower class. Highly sympathetic to their cause, he composed Tom's Garland. First time I saw that poem, I thought it was Tom Garland. That was his last name. But it's Tom's Garland. To bring attention to their plight, creating a powerful indictment on the social, economic conditions of his time. The poem resembles an essay, which might be entitled Upon the Unemployed, but as a poem, it has greater impact because he brings us into the world of Tom, and we get an up-close and personal look at him and his fellow worker, as he said. And a navvy worker is a ditch digger, someone who, sweats for his labor, like digging trenches and excavating, things like that. Unskilled road laborers who earn their living by hard physical work, swinging pickaxes and digging trenches. And he provides the reader with a poignant glimpse into the human toll of unemployment. Tom and his sidekick, Dick, and this Tom, Dick, and Harry, that represents the common man. They are victims of society. So that's a little beginning here. The tone of the poem is harsh and severe. It came about as a result of a demonstration in Trafalgar Square in the summer of 1887 when hundreds of workers began camping out in the streets to protest the working conditions in England and the use of repressive force in Ireland. It's a portrait of the typical day laborer and what can happen when he has been pushed to the limits of his endurance. In other words, when he's out of work, his bread and his living. All right. Now, Paul Mariani, in his book Gerard Manley Hopkins, gives this description of the poem. Following St. Paul's metaphor of Christ as the head and the church as the body, Hopkins draws an image of the commonwealth as the body politic in which all, high and low, have a rightful place. Most men, he believes, if they have job security, a home, food, and a bed, are satisfied. Tom's Garland does not shine out from his brow, Hopkins explains, but like sparks from his hobnail boots, striking off the cobblestone streets as he heads for his home and his supper. The stars above his head, the earth beneath his feet, let others do the heavy thinking, in government and parliament. Let them work through those tough, tongue-twisting, thick, thousands of thorns thoughts, as long as Tom has his pick and his shovel and his job and his bed at night and his supper. But take away those things that make up his world, undenizen him, unhome him. And then, as despair makes inroads, he becomes a hangdog, sullen, despairing of ever finding a way out. Add rage to the mix, and you have that terrifying new species, man-wolf, as Hopkins describes it, whose packs are all too willing to take down the commonweal, of which they no longer feel they're any part of. All right, so the poem begins, let me open this up a bit. The poem begins with a description of Tom. We're told he's garlanded or adorned with squat and surly steel, depicting a man who's stocky or dumpy in appearance, squat, and ill-natured, surly, or nasty temperament. Both he and his fellow worker are strong as steel. Dick is described as a fallow boot fellow. Now, fallow, when you rotate the crops, you leave a field empty for a year, so there's nothing growing on that field, all right? And that's a fallow field. So he describes this boot fellow as a fallow boot fellow, suggesting uncultivated, the connotation coming from a fallow field. Together they rip out rock with their picks all day, looking towards the end of their workday to enjoy their nightly supper. And that's all that's on their mind at that point, right? Hopkins demonstrates his familiarity with the Irish plain or homely speech when he says, Tom's all for his meal. And that's a colloquial turn of words. There's an Irish song that goes, it's all for me grog, me jolly, jolly grog. It's all for me rum and tobacco. So he uses that play on words, it's all for his meal. Good old Tom. He treads through his day. He plies his way, keeps on trucking. We are told he hardly complains of being sick, and he swings through his low lot without complaint. Whate'er his lot, it is well with his soul. Like that line from the song, the hymn. It is well with my soul. So that's Tom. He's seldom heart sore. As long as he gets his 3 square meals every day, no need to complain. He gives no thought to the government. Leave all that meddling to them in power, just so long he has his bread. So here Hopkins takes us into the thoughts of Tom. Country is honor enough in all us. That's the way he puts it. We have heaven above us for light and sacred ground of Britain beneath us. At this point in the poem, the meaning becomes extremely obscure, from this point on. So much so that Hopkins' closest friends, Robert Bridges and Richard Dixon, told Hopkins that its meaning was hopeless. They didn't understand it, all right? So don't feel bad if you didn't understand it. In answer to Bridges, Hopkins wrote this letter, and he spells it out. This is what he said. I laughed out loud to think that you and Cannon could not construe Tom's Garland. It's plain that if you and he cannot understand me, who will? That's us. Then Hopkins gives in to them, and continues, very well then, and this is what he says, just as St. Paul and Plato say that the commonwealth is like a body with many members, in each its own function, some higher, some lower, but all honorable, the head is the sovereign, covered only with the sun and stars. On the other hand, the foot is the day laborer, armed with hobnail boots, for it is the day laborer on a great scale, or in gangs, millions, mainly trench, tunnel, blast, and in other ways disfigure the landscape, mimic the earth, as he says here, mimic, and superficially stamp it with their footprints. And though they fill the lowest place in the commonwealth, they still share in it, in the common honor. And if they lack glory or public fame, they make up for it by ease of mind. They don't worry about it. Let that be worried by those in Parliament. Absence of care, then, symbolized by their gold and iron garlands. So that's a symbol of that. Hopkins sets the time at evening in the poem when they're given over to work one by one and they pile their picks. Remember that line, pile pick? One pile their picks with which they earn their living and swing off home, knocking sparks out of Mother Earth by their mere footing, being strong-shod with their nabby boots, and making no hardship of hardness, taking all easy, and so to supper and to bed. And the sestet concludes with a commentary on what happens when the common Tom is deprived of a place in the Commonwealth. The protests witnessed in both Ireland and England, where the laborers were demonstrating for job security, revealed that the common man will rise up by despair bred hangdog dull, by rage and turn into man-wolf worse. That they get enraged and they don't act like rational people. They become man-wolf. Man's passion for recognition of respect must be honored, and that theme comes up in The Death of the Salesman as well. If you ever read that play, that's the theme of it. And then here I'll repeat what Mariani said about this idea of taking away their dignity in their job. But take away those things that make up his world, unhouse him, unhome him. And then, as despair makes its inroads, he becomes hangdog sullen, despairing of ever finding a way out. Add rage to the mix, and you have that terrifying new species, man-wolf, whose packs are all too willing to take down a commonwealth of which they no longer feel a part. So, I'll go back to the poem again. I'll get this out of here. Let me take this down. So I'll do this reading one more time. Tom's Garland. Tom, garlanded with squats and surly steel. Tom. Then Tom, fellow bootfellow, piles pick by him and rips out rock fire home forth. Sturdy Dick. Tom, hard at ease. Tom navvy. He's all for his meal. Sure as the bed now. Low be it. Lustily, he his low lot feel, and then he swings through, but then feel that ne'er need hunger. Tom seldom sick, seldom a heart sore that treads through prick-proof, thick thousands of thorns, thoughts, swings through them all. Commonweal, little I reck, lack level in other words, he doesn't have a place in the Commonwealth and in the Parliament. If all had bread, what? That's all that counts. Country is honor enough in all this. Lordly head with heaven lights, high hung round, or mother ground that mammoth's mighty foot, but no way sped, nor mind, nor main strength Gold go Garland it with perilous, oh no, nor yet plod safe shod sound, undone his end beyond bound of earth's glory, earth's ease all, no one, nowhere, in the wide the world's wheel, rare gold, bold steel, bear in both care, but share care, this by despair, bred hangdog, dull by rage. Can't get the rest of this thing. Man wolf worse, and their packs infest the age.